Thanks, Kath, for correctly pronouncing my name, Virin. I get lots of different versions when people hear it for the first time, because it's quite an uncommon name. Vernon, Virgin, which I don't mind because it basically gets people curious about me, and it really sparks a conversation. And who doesn't want to be talked about, right? A few centuries ago, William Shakespeare said, "What's in a name? A rose by any other name would smell as sweet." Sorry, Mr. Shakespeare. I think when you wrote that, there was not the age of the internet, the social media, branding of web domain names that could be valued at millions, or even identity fraud. And today is the age where name equals fame. And so when people and organizations select a name, they are very careful, because this one act can make them famous by creating an identity, a brand, or it can also really land them in trouble if they happen to infringe copyrights or trademarks. Some of the big names in the industry have some very interesting background. Google was originally an accidental misspelling of the word Google, which actually is a number, which is number 1 followed by 100 zeros. And so it was actually chosen because Google.com was unregistered at that stage. And it actually reflected the company's mission to organize the vast amount of information available online. Pepsi, oddly enough, it get its name from the digestive enzyme pepsin. And originally it was marketed as a healthy drink that would aid digestion. Would you believe that? And then they started giving human names to tropical cyclones, tropical storms, you know, Hurricane Victor, Hurricane Katrina, Cyclone Pam. And I said, hang on, I mean, I know all these wonderful people. I mean, even though they may be able to blow you away by what they say, but certainly they're not cyclones or hurricanes, you know. Giving human names to tropical storms may seem quite an odd thing, but it's part of the major shift in our relationship with tropical cyclones over the last 60 years. We hear people say that we can't really choose our family we're born in. I think that's also true in the case of the name we get. Most often it's your parent or grandparent who proposed your name even before you were born. And then when you got that name, it got stuck for the rest of your life, you know. I mean, you could go ahead and change it if you wanted, if you don't like it, but a lot of people try and avoid it because it just comes with a lot of other hassles. And once you get that name, it really starts to define you. And you let it define you. And suddenly it becomes part of your public image. It becomes an inseparable part of your identity. Dale Carnegie said, the sweetest sound in the world is the person's own name. So if you, in a room full of people, if you hear your name called out, you take notice because you'll be noticed by someone. And so that becomes part of your public image, your public persona. But your self-identity, your identity is much more than that. It's much more than just your name. Your identity really is part of your self-image. It's part of how you feel about yourself. And your personal identity really is all about your uniqueness, your values, your physical identity, your internal identity, your personal goals. And all that comes packaged as your name. What's in a name? Sorry, Mr. Shakespeare. But I guess even though I choose to differ from what Shakespeare said, I do believe he had a different meaning. Probably he meant to say that name is just a label. More important than your name is your identity, the person that you are. And so it's important to realize that how you feel about your identity, about your name, because it can actually also mean that how others feel about you. So you can choose to use it to create harmony around you. Now, in this day and age of changing circumstances where our name actually has assumed a different meaning, different importance, how can you make the most of it? Think of how people feel when your name is mentioned. How would you like to make them feel? And what you can do to achieve that. So I would like to leave you with the thought. Your name is more than just your brand. Your name has the power and potential to evoke emotion. It can change the way people feel. And it can influence them to get inspired and take action. So perhaps the best brand that you can wear is your own identity. So sometimes I pretend to be normal, and then it gets boring. So I go back to being me. Thanks for listening to me.